Hey, Duke, sorry for the delay. I've had a bunch of nervous investors who want reassurances. Have you checked the share price?
I've just been looking at them, unfortunately.
Pretty bleak. Share prices haven't rebounded since we got everyone sick on the chew with our relish.
Yes, even with the announcement that Pickle Lila and Pickle Eddie were both tampered with, it hasn't stopped the downward trend.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid we might not be able to turn this around if we can't figure out who's behind the sabotage.
I don't mind if I do.
Hello? Quartermains?
If you're here to drag Kiki away from here, you're too late. Her and her dumb boyfriend are settling it nicely.
Hey, I was called in. My mother just woke up. What's going on?
We found the weapon used by her shooter.
You're gonna turn yourself in? Are you out of your mind?
I'm not really seeing another option.
I do. Lots of them. Ones that don't include ruining both of our lives,
It's
Sean.
the honorable thing to do, okay? The only thing if I have any chance is salvaging my relationship.
You forget about Alexis? You can't do this. If you turn yourself in, it's a matter of time before Anna connects the whole thing to me.
Just the person I was looking for.
You have more questions?
No, I have questions for Carly.
The rifle was found at a landfill, a mile from the Metro Quarter.
No serial number.
No, filed off.
Yeah, untraceable. Didn't expect any less. The shooter's a pro. This casing matches the bullet found in a hotel room overlooking the terrace. This is it. We found our weapon.
Why do you want to question me?
Oh, this is probably a matter we should continue down at the station.
The station.
Don't worry. It's very routine.
Oh, okay. Well, anything you have to ask me, you can ask me here then.
I just feel like with a case this serious that any statement you give should be on record.
Should I call my lawyer?
Convinced that Tracy poisoned our relish, but then the results came back from the lab indicating that both had been tainted.
Which exonerates Tracy, because why would she poison her own product, after all?
And I'd like to know who did it, because it's been more than a month and we haven't heard anything.
Well, Gordon Elliott and the NYPD are both conducting an investigation. They'll come up with no leads.
It doesn't make any sense at all. None of our chief rivals are even in the condiment business. I mean, who would want to tank our company like this?
Well, have you considered Eva Giroux?
Yours.
Alice, the maid, you met her? She sorted through a whole bag of those and picked those out just for me special.
Such a stupid affectation.
That's my stupid affectation. They taste better that way.
Only in your mind, which, I grant you, is a very scary place.
Fine, more for me and Kiki.
You expect me to believe that you and my daughter are bonding over candy?
We have to bond over something. Our relationship is so problematic, what with you keeping her from me for her entire life.
She did just fine without you, Franco. We both did.
Kiki moved in here to live with me and my new family.
The Quartermaids have been your family for what? All of 5 minutes?
You know, I don't see what she sees in this guy Morgan. And I don't understand why he's called Morgan when the other one, Michael, is just so much more like Jason. But let me tell you something. If Morgan is part of the reason why Kiki is willing to live here under my roof, I'm all for it. Time with my daughter. What else could a man want?
How about a conscience?
I just got one of those. I'm breaking it in.
So you say.
So I say, why else would I voluntarily come back to Port Charles? I'm out on bail, but I still have to stand trial.
Sounds like another art piece to me. Designed to confuse and mislead. Nothing you ever do is straightforward.
Appearances can be so misleading. I feel it's my responsibility as an artist to point that out. If one person gets it, then one person is closer to the truth.
I don't need any help figuring you out, thanks. And for the record, I've spent a lot of time with Morgan. The truth is, he's a very nice young man.
Trying to get closer to our daughter by sucking up to her boyfriend. How's that working for you?
I do have some repair work to do on my relationship with Kiki.
So that full court press to get her to sign over all of her shares of VLQ, that didn't work so great?
Kiki will come around. I'm just gonna give her some space and some time.
Convenient, considering that she's not speaking to you.
I have business with AJ. He wasn't at the office. Is he here?
No, you just missed him, the big long kid, by not less than 5 minutes.
If only I'd thought to ask, instead of wasting all this time in conversation with you.
What from Junior? And by the way, that's not what I call him, that's what the Qs call him. I think it's appropriate because it conjures up to mind images of somebody being spoiled and not very bright. That, again, appropriate.
Does your brother know how highly you speak of him?
Please, this is mild by Quartermain standards. They are vicious in the verbal combat. I think it's part of the reason I fit in so nicely.
Finally, after a lifetime as an outsider, you have a place to belong.
Amen. So, what do you want from AJ? You're going to convince him that you can offer up Kiki's allegiance?
No. I'm offering AJ something much better. Your head on a silver platter.
That's the deal, Nicholas. If we're still gonna be friends, then you have to respect my decisions and not interfere. Can you do that?
All right, Nicholas. If your intentions are every bit as noble as you say, why don't you give me back the recording?
Wouldn't that be convenient for you?
Well, I mean, you said it yourself that if Elizabeth found out that I slept with Carly, it would hurt her.
You're always looking for the easy way out, aren't you, AJ? You have no problem crossing the line, but you never want to pay the consequences. Too bad. That recording's my little insurance policy. Make one wrong move with Elizabeth, and I'll make sure she hears about your pathetic little fling with Carly. I always respect you, Elizabeth. I gave you my word I will not interfere in your life.
Then it's settled. I'll stay.
You know Eva Jerome?
Well, she was here earlier looking for you. Do you mind if I ask you, how do you know Miss Jerome?
She's Kiki's mother.
Who's Kiki?
Franco's daughter. You see, calling her Lauren was just wishful thinking. Her real name is Lauren Catherine Jerome. Kiki for short.
That's why I've had such a hard time locating her.
Tell me more about your meeting with Eva. Why are you convinced that she wants to go after ELQ?
It's not so much what she said. It's more about who she is.
My head on a silver platter. Do you have any idea how beautiful that is? Do you know the origins of that statement? The etymology,
stop
the
trying to
story
change the
behind the
subject,
story? No,
Franco.
that is the subject. Salome wanted John the Baptist's head on a silver platter. It was covered by all the masters of the Renaissance, and I think it's ripe for interpretation. I can't wait to get my hands on the reflective
Not
properties.
if your brother kills you first.
No, I don't think he wants to do that.
Wait till he gets to know you better.
No, I think he wants to do that. AJ can't wait. He wants me to fold into the family as much as I want to be folded in. Won't be long before he thinks of me as family.
Even after he finds out you poisoned his relish.
We need to confirm the bullets and the strike marks match the ones forensics reconstructed from the pieces extracted from my mother.
You okay, Falconer?
Yeah, I'm fine. Have ballistics put a rush on that. The sooner we can match that weapon to the crime, the closer we get to putting the shooter behind bars.
You're a lawyer.
Yeah, Diane Miller. I'm sure she'd be interested in whatever you want to talk to me about.
Yeah, by all means, just give her a call, but I don't see why you'd need her input.
Even as you're dragging me off to the station.
I'm not pulling out the handcuffs. You know, this is really just follow-up questions to you because you're the owner of the Metro Court. It's things like, you know, staff schedule and who was on security the night of the shooting. You've been so cooperative so far. There's no reason to bring a lawyer into all this, is there?
Guess not.
Right. Shall we? I'll give you a ride. Mr. Butler.
Commissioner.
You were very open about your criminal past when you came here. I just wasn't aware that the family you were involved with was named Jerome.
I had every reason to believe that the Jeromes were no more.
Let me ask you something. During your time with them, do you remember ever meeting a family member named Eva?
Oh, I only knew Victor's two children, Olivia and Julian. But there's no reason why Eva could not be related.
Just as likely they're not related, though. I mean, Jerome is a fairly common last name.
That's funny. That's exactly what she said when I brought it up. But I did get this very odd feeling from her.
What kind of feeling?
There was just something about her demeanor. Like as if she was hiding something. She was playing cat and mouse with me. And I got the feeling she was enjoying every minute of the chase.
You're the one who tainted AJ and Tracy's relishes on the chew.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't play dumb. You're a lot of things, Franco.
You're a lot of
Ignorant
things.
isn't one of them.
You're hard when you're condescending.
Pickle Lila Relish was supposed to make ELQ rise from the ashes. Sadly, we all know what happened. Both AJ and Tracy's relishes were tampered with. The incident on the Chew went viral. ELQ's stock prices still haven't recovered.
Really? I didn't know that. I was busy doing other things, like coming back from the dead.
Well, let me fill you in. They never found the person who tampered with the relishes. The person responsible for tanking ELQ. Well, someone obviously wanted to create chaos for that company. Chaos. Major theme in your work, no?
No, I think my work's more about the evil that men do. That's why I've never really been interested in corporations. It's too obvious. There's nothing personal there. There's nothing intimate there.
Poisoning for individuals is personal. Intimate. But doing it on national television, thereby undermining ELQ, well, that raises it to the level of an event.
You're right. You say it like that, I wish I'd thought of it.
As performance art / corporate sabotage, it's brilliant. But for a man trying to prove his redemption, you just made a serious error.
Did I? So I'm responsible for all the mayhem in the world. Tell me something. How are you going to prove your little theory?
Not a theory. You did it. I know you did. And I have proof.
Take a seat, Carly. I'll be in shortly.
She agreed to come in here?
Yeah, I told her it's routine follow-up questions. So, is it true? Your mom regained consciousness?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah, the doctors are optimistic.
That's wonderful. Will you tell me about this rifle that was recovered?
Sniper rifle found in landfill.
Yeah.
It's got to be the gun used to shoot my mother. You know, the more I think about it, the more I'm convinced that Carly and Sonny are behind this whole thing. My mother, she just got in between them and their vendetta against Franco.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll find out more when I question
Good.
her.
I want to go in there with you.
Yeah, I can understand why you would want that, but we've got to be careful with her, or she's going to lawyer up.
Yeah, I know the stakes.
If you lose your temper, we won't get anything out of Carly. Her lawyer is Diane Miller. She won't take kindly to you bouncing off the walls.
I need to be a part of this.
I will allow it, but we have to be smart about this. It's the only way we're going to get Carly to crack.
First came to the house to see Tracy. Nothing jumped out as a red flag. Now, I can speak with the investigators, have them vet her further if you think that she's that suspicious.
No, I'm sure it's nothing. I mean, you know what it's like when you first meet somebody and you form an instant first impression.
Yeah, well, sometimes first impressions can turn out to be a little trouble.
Are you thinking of something in particular?
Total coincidence. Michael's brother Morgan was already dating Kiki. The two of them have been staying with Michael ever since they hit town.
So Michael was sharing a flat with this girl, and he didn't realize it was his cousin?
Well, I definitely don't think that if Michael knew that his cousin was Kiki Jerome, he would have kissed her.
You have proof. Do tell. No, seriously, do tell. I'm in the mood for a story.
Very well. Once upon a time,
Oh, good.
Luke Spencer came to my place in New York. He told me about the existence of Kiki shares at ELQ. The very next day, I had to go on a business trip. On the way to the airport, what do you think I saw on that little TV in the back of the cab?
idea. Was it the video of that little kitty cat meowing in the bathtub? Because that is so cute.
An announcement that the Quartermains were going to be in New York, promoting their new relishes on the Chew. I took a detour to see Kiki's newfound relatives for myself. Unfortunately, by the time I got to the studio, almost everyone had left for the hospital due to an unforeseen illness.
Shame. It looks like you delayed your business trip for nothing.
On the contrary. One of the few people left at the studio was a lovely young producer by the name of Todd Guerin. He told me that he had seen an unauthorized person in the green room. A man who ran off before Todd could get his name.
And you think that unauthorized man is me?
Oh, honey. I know it was.
So when the security footage from the Metro Court was reviewed, it was discovered that some of the surveillance cameras had been disabled. Specifically the one on the side street, the Grand Street entrance. Now, who has access to those controls?
The head of my security team and the people who work directly under him.
And what about hotel management, do they?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And hotel owners?
Yes, of course.
Oh.
You don't think Connie had anything to do with this, do you?
No, we don't think Connie had anything to do with this. But we do think you played a big part in this, Carly.
The commissioner took Carly in for questioning. Says it's routine, but it probably didn't help. She saw Carly with me at the park.
Damn it, Carly never thinks. What's gonna happen to my boys? It's gonna destroy Michael and Morgan.
Not to mention Jocelyn. You know, she's just a little kid.
My boys' lives will be torn apart.
Didn't have to.
How do we stop it?
I'm going down to the station. Tell Anna I acted alone. I'm turning myself in.
Michael kissed his brother's girlfriend, who then turned out to be his cousin.
Yeah. Talk about an unexpected complication. I told Michael to stay away from Kiki.
That's probably a good course of action.
Except it throws a monkey wrench in our plans with ELQ.
How so?
She and Michael are about the same age. I was hoping that he could persuade her to vote with me and, in turn, persuade Franco.
Well, don't worry. I'm sure we'll come up with a better course of action.
I sure hope so. Because as much as it would work for me to have Michael get close to this girl, I think it could be a recipe for disaster.
First, the Chew issues a statement that the relishes had been tampered with, and a few days later, you turn up alive.
Oh, I didn't just turn up. I had a party, and it was fun. No less than 3 people tried to murder me. That's inaccurate. Technically, 2 people tried to murder me. Morgan's father, Sonny. He pointed a gun at me. An aforementioned lughead brother, he tried to strangle me. The third, technically, was not attempted murder. I mean, she just hit me in the head with a handgun, which was still hurtful.
I wish I'd been there.
No, you and I, we deserved a more private reunion.
Oh. And so I came to see you in your jail cell. And that's when I learned that you had your own financial interests in ELQ. A few days later, I went back to the city. I showed your photo to Todd Guerin, and he ID'd you as the man he saw in the green room.
Come on. Relishgate has been completely investigated. If some television producer claims to recognize me, why haven't I been questioned by the police, or worse, on Tracy?
Simple. I paid Todd Guerin to keep his mouth shut.
You paid for something. You've never even picked up a dinner check.
Sometimes you gotta spend money to make money, and I knew what I had to gain by silencing that producer was worth a lot more.
Really? What did you have to gain?
You're not that mysterious, Franco. That televised exercise in food poisoning wasn't some performance art piece. It was all about driving the stock price of ELQ down, thereby leaving the company open to a takeover by the likes of you.
Listen to me. You shouldn't have to sacrifice yourself. All you gotta do is lie low.
No, I'm not sure I can live with
Carly lied to you. She told you that I ordered the hit. You shouldn't have to take the fall for something that was not your fault.
The bottom line is I pulled the trigger and I shot the wrong person. Okay, the last time that happened, I felt like I never paid the price for killing TJ's father, and I almost lost my mind. I can't go through that again.
I understand, but going to the cops, you think that's the right thing to do?
Look, the cops always suspect me, okay? It's only a matter of time before they get enough evidence.
You shouldn't make assumptions. All you gotta do is play this out.
If I don't turn myself in, and this investigation continues, you and Carly can be connected to the shooting as well. And I'm not willing to let that happen.
You're in this situation because you work for me.
No, I'm in this situation because I shot an innocent woman. You know, I keep playing it in my head. You know, I know Olivia ran into my shot, but I had Franco in my sights, man. And part of me still can't believe that I missed so badly. But I did, okay? And it's time for me to take responsibility for that.
Your head of security says he's never shut off any cameras before. Connie has an alibi. That leaves you. Did you really think we were going to figure this out? How are you going to look at my mother in the eye now that she's awake?
Olivia's awake.
Wow, that's some relief for you. How do you like that? You pretty happy you don't have blood on your hands right now, Carly?
We've got to be smart about this.
You know what? You know what? This doesn't work with her. The good cop routine, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So just so you know, we found the gun that was used to shoot my mother. Ballistics has it right now. They're going to take a look at it. How long before you think we can trace that back to one of Sonny's guys?
It wasn't Sonny.
Well, who was it?
You don't want just part of ELQ. You want the whole damn thing for yourself.
Even if that were true, what are you going to do about it?
Well, I was looking for AJ because I was just about to offer him the name of his relish saboteur for a healthy sum of cash. But I stand to gain so much more, and you would get to keep your freedom if we unite.
When did this become about my freedom?
Well, with all the charges you're facing, do you really want to add assault? Or whatever the legal term is for deliberately poisoning 4 people to the list? Doesn't it make more sense to unite behind our common interests?
And which of our common interests are you willing to admit?
If you want me to keep my mouth shut, you're gonna have to cut me in.
You know what? We're gonna have to finish strategizing about Kiki and Franco later because I have dinner with Elizabeth.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. How are things progressing on that front?
You know, it's actually the only area of my life that isn't a mess. I'll be honest with you, Duke. There was a little hiccup that threatened to ruin everything, but I've worked that out. Now, nothing can stand in the way of our happiness.
Carly, you just said Sonny isn't responsible for my mother's shooting. Can you tell us who is?
I think I'd like to call my lawyer now.
Of course. Yeah. Detective?
Commissioner.
Is it true? Is Olivia okay?
Yeah, well, that's what Sonny said. What's going on here?
I decided to call a lawyer.
Look, that won't be necessary. Look, there's something I have to tell you.
What did you have to tell me, Sean?
Dante, I need you to see something.
You do not have to kill us.
Look, someone's gonna take the fall.
Doesn't have to be you.
Look, it's the only way, Carly. I have to tell the truth, at least my part. I shot Olivia.
Is this what I think it is?
The strike marks from the rifle we found don't match the bullet fragments that were recovered from your mother. Yeah.
Which means the bullet that hit my mother didn't come from that gun. Is this what I think it is?
The strike marks from the rifle we found don't match the bullet fragments recovered from your mother.
Which means the bullet that hit my mother wasn't fired from that gun.
It looks that way, yes.
Hey! Where is it?
I'm sorry?
The other gun, Sean, where is it?
Dante, we need to go over them.
No, you know, I really don't think we do. Well?
Dante, I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
Well, the shell casing we found matches the rifle we recovered, but it doesn't match the bullet taken from my mother, which means there was another gun.
Dante, please.
Oh, you're saying that the bullet they removed from Olivia didn't come from the attempted murder weapon? The one that matched the shell casing?
Carly, would you stay out of this, please?
Am I right?
Yeah.
Dante, really? You guys brought me into it. 5 minutes ago, you had me pegged as the mastermind.
Sean, hey. A minute ago, you had something to tell us, and I'm pretty sure it was about the shooting. We're listening. Sean, we were interrupted before. Now you have our undivided attention. What did you come here to tell us?
Sean has nothing to say.
What are you, a lawyer now?
Okay, well, Carly, why don't
I'm
you
his
come
friend,
with me?
and friends look out for each other. You want to help, and I get it. But you know what? Words get twisted in here. And if you're not careful, you can end up being accused of something you didn't do. I've seen it happen a million times.
No one's accusing anybody of anything here. Sean, would you please just tell us what you wanted to tell us?
Sean?
I just wanted to say, I'm at your disposal. And if there's anything I can do to aid in the investigation, please, don't hesitate to give me a call.
Really? That's it?
Thank you. We will keep that in mind.
Okay, so we're free to go, right? You don't have anything to connect us to Franco's attempted murder. Okay, so we're free to go, right? It's illegal to keep us here if we're not under arrest.
We're well within our rights to hold you for questioning.
But you know what? You can go. Thank you, both of you.
We're just gonna end up dragging you back in here
For what it's worth, I really do hope you find the person who did this. And I am incredibly relieved that Olivia's gonna be okay. Let's go.
The lab checked the fragments found in Olivia multiple times against the shell casing. The bullet definitely did not come from the rifle we recovered.
So someone else besides Sonny and Sean and Carly tried to kill Franco.
Someone in addition. I know Carly and Sean are involved. I just feel it. I know. She opened that hotel room. She let him in there in order to kill Franco. And that when he thought he hit your mother by mistake, he panicked. And that's why he dropped the shell casing on the ground. He didn't pick it up.
Well, that explains Sean's lapse in judgment when he ditched the gun.
Yeah.
No, his guilt was getting to him. He was coming here to confess, and he would have done that if Carly hadn't stopped.
I know, but we can't prove it. There's no evidence whatsoever linking Carly and Sean to the shooting. And we don't know who else tried to kill Franco.
Honestly, as much as I want answers, I'm glad it wasn't Sean. Sonny wasn't responsible for my mother getting shot.
That was fun, wasn't it? Walking little Emma to day camp.
Yes, I like watching you two together.
Hey, morning. Luke? Hello? Did you see that?
Luke Spencer being his usual charming self, yes.
Oh, I've seen him in a bad mood before, but he barely said hello.
He didn't say hello.
Okay, he didn't say hello. I wonder what's wrong.
Well, perhaps he's still bruised from the demise of your romantic relationship.
Don't gloat. It's unbecoming. He and I, we finished on a good note. It's whatever's on the computer has got to be very important. He's got something on his mind.
Or both.
Honestly.
I must say, this is a very interesting choice of venue.
Yeah. Such a lovely day. I thought, we should enjoy it, right?
Well, if you're not going to volunteer the information, I'm going to ask you the question. Is this the exact table where Franco was sitting for his assassination attempt? Or are you here trying to find a different vantage point?
Okay, fine. Yeah, whatever. I'm mixing business and pleasure.
No, what am I?
Pleasure. You better stay that way, too.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'm on the straight and narrow, much like the trajectory of that bullet. But now, since we're on the subject,
Yes?
have you found a suspect?
We did. But we hit a slight snag, and now we don't know who tried to shoot Franco.
So you thought you could revisit the scene of the crime with your favorite reformed criminal?
I just thought maybe something would be revealed to me, that's all.
Well, can I help you in any way?
No, this is an open investigation. I'm not at liberty to discuss anything with you.
Well, you could deputize me.
Yeah, I'll bear that in mind. All right. Since we can't talk about my work, let's talk about yours. How's the LQ?
Well, I had a very interesting run-in with a mysterious woman there yesterday. A young lady by the name of Miss Ava Jerome.
Jerome? Oh, God. No. Is it a coincidence, or is she some person trying to tempt you back into your former life? But who is she, really? Is she a Jerome or what?
Well, I wondered that myself when she said the name, and I grilled her very gently, but she assured me she's not related to the crime family that I once was involved with.
You don't believe her?
Well, shall we just say the jury's out at this point, but there was something definitely dodgy about her.
Oh, God, Duke, you've got to be careful. The last thing either of us can afford is for you to get mixed up in the mob again.
Don't worry about that. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to risk that. I know what I would lose. I wouldn't do that.
Aw, you two. You're so sweet. It's like Downton Abbey, but more contemporary.
Just a bit.
So are you two here for brunch or also to gawk at the crime scene?
Actually, we're trying to track the two of you down. And if you're not too busy, we have something very important to ask you.
Well, this is certainly a lot of intrigue for a simple question. I can't imagine what it is you're going to ask me.
Well, I was hoping you would do me the honor of being my best man.
But you want to be my maid of honor?
I must say I'm very surprised and I'm flattered. But what about Mr. Marbles? Is he otherwise engaged?
No, he'll be there. He's performing the ceremony. Seriously, Duke. Look, I really was hoping you would be the one to stand by me when I marry Felicia. You know, when Frisco was putting on his full court press to get her back, you advised me, you felt my pain. It's only fitting. So will you do it?
You maid of honor? Really? You want... gosh, I'm touched.
You seem surprised.
I am a bit.
Well, I love you, Anna. We've known each other forever. We've been through so much together.
I know.
And just as importantly, you were the one that helped me see that Mac is the one for me, not Frisco.
I tried to be impartial, but I do approve of your choice, what to say.
Well, you guided me and you supported me. And I would just absolutely love it if you stood by my side when I marry Mac.
What about Maxie?
I already spoke with Maxie about you being the maid of honor.
She's okay with it?
Oh, she's very good with it.
Okay.
Of course, the little tantrum that she threw with poor Mac this morning, I think it's probably better to have her wish us well from a distance.
That bad, huh?
Let's just say that the second trimester happy hormones are history.
Here's to great friends, to a marvelous wedding, and to a wonderful life.
Here.
To a beautiful maid of honor.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yes, and to a charming best man.
Oh, thank you.
So when are the two of you retying the knot?
Tie the knot, Oz.
What do you mean, Sis? What do you mean? What are you saying? Exactly.
I'm terribly sorry to interrupt everybody. Slim, I really need your help. Thank you for seeing me on such short notice. I'm sorry to pull you away from the celebration.
Oh, we were just toasting Mac and Felicia's upcoming wedding, but you have priority. You said it was important.
It is. A matter of life and death.
Oh, that awful woman.
Well, let's give the devil her due. As revenge plots go, this one is brilliant.
So the whole time you've known since you've been back? Ever since you rescued Lulu?
Well, she has been since then dripping poison into my ear, literally. I should have known that she wouldn't go into the long dark night without leaving me some kind of parting gift.
I don't even know what to say. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say.
Slim, thank you, but I don't want people weeping over my grave before I'm even in it.
No, I know. Sorry. I'm sorry. What do you need?
All right, I need every trick you've ever learned from the WSB about cheating death. I need intelligence.
Okay. Well, the first thing we need to do is to figure out what the toxin is. I'll call poison control.
No, it's all right. I know what it is. Helena's souvenir is called polonium-210.
What? Oh, God. What, do you know already what the poison is? Why are you here? You should be in the hospital being treated.
You heard her. The cure isn't with GH. It's out there somewhere. I need you to help me find it.
I will do anything for you, Luke. Anything. But you know Helena Cassadine better than anyone. And I've barely crossed paths with the woman.
Yes, but I have a better relationship with the WSB than I do. Now, the Cassadines have been on their radar for a long time, so I'm thinking maybe we could just put our heads together. At the very least, you can help me with intel, getting whatever weapons I may need.
Weapons?
Slim, listen. I know you. You are determined. You are relentless. And when it comes to finishing a job, you have a streak of genius. It's a real shame that you've been on the wrong side of the law all this time.
You've been known to side with law enforcement on occasion.
Okay, well, if I've earned any points, I need to collect them now. If there's anybody who can help me figure this out, it's you.
I'm in.
Yes. Great, thank you. I owe you one.
I assume that was Frisco, yeah?
Yeah, he's having his team monitor any suspicious activities around the Cassadine Island. What about you? Anything?
I've been on the WSB database looking for all the polonium-210 poisons. So, The most detailed case they have is from 2006. Do you remember the Russian spy who was all over the news?
Alexander Litvinenko.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, I don't suppose there's any connection between him and our favorite Greeks.
No, not according to these reports. There's no ties to the Cassadines now. That's the most detailed report they have, 2006. But, oh, this one's a bit more recent. No way.
What?
It happened right here in Port Charles.
Minute, are you saying that somebody here in the Chuckles was poisoned with polonium? Were the Russian spies here I didn't know about?
No, it's related to the toxins that were put into the water supply during the summer. Do you remember that?
Yes, poisoning the well,
Yeah.
literally.
You and I, we were out of the country at the time. We were in Switzerland. So when I got back, I got a full debriefing, but apparently the agents that I spoke to failed to mention this interview that they had with Jasper Jacks.
Jacks knows something about it?
Yeah, according to him, his brother was shot with a polonium-laced bullet. Now, even though the bullet was removed, the resulting radiation poisoning was killing Jerry. So the ransom that he asked for the antitoxin, you know, $88 million, so that must have been the amount he needed for the cure, for him. And that's an extraordinary amount for a legitimate hospital to charge.
I wonder if the seller was Helena. So that's the way out of this that the old bitch was squawking about. The answer is Jerry Jacks.
There's one substantial drawback.
Only one?
Yeah, Jerry Jacks is presumed to have died in a boat explosion.
Oh, is that all?
I am the last person to put faith in reports of someone's death, but according to his brother, he was sitting right next to the fuel tank, which means that he would have caught the full force of the blast.
So it's all a guess. They probably never recovered a body, right?
No, no trace, no.
Then he could still be alive and walking around.
Well, this is a scenario that I'm more than a little familiar with, yes. Plus, the 88 million was never recovered.
So we've got the demon from down under buying himself a cure. That means if I can find Jerry Jacks, he can lead me to it.
Don't you think this is a bit of a long shot?
Oh, darling, I always play the long shots. They pay off best. No, I'm sure. Jerry Jacks is the way out of this.
Officially, Jerry Jacks is dead. The missing 88 million is considered to be a low-priority cold case. There have been no real leads on Jerry or the money in almost a year.
That means he's found a very secure location and he'll be difficult to find.
All right, when do we leave?
No, we're not leaving. You're staying here.
What about all these inspiring words about how you needed my hard-won expertise?
I do need it. Here. Staying in touch with your sources, feeding me intelligence. And maybe even paving the way for me on both sides of the espionage game.
Luke, backup works best when you're in actual physical proximity.
Slim, this is a one-man show. Helena's challenge was to me and me alone.
The woman is trying to kill you, Luke. You're not obligated to play by her rules.
I've been playing this endgame with her for most of my adult life. I am not going to throw the match now. No, I'm coming out victorious in this game, baby. And alive.
What's the occasion?
Well, any day I'm not in Turkish prison and I get to spend with you is a very special occasion. Hello.
Hi.
I'm very glad you managed to sneak away and get to spend some time with me. I imagined with the investigation into Olivia Falconer's shooting, you might at this point be handcuffed to your desk.
I should be, really. But I wanted to get out for lunch with you. It's nice to be out in the sun. Though, quite honestly, I would trade a month of lunches for a good lead. Everything is just ground to a halt since my prime suspect, Carly, and her merry band of mobsters have been ruled out.
Surely you have other leads?
No, nothing so far. You know, on the first few days, I was just so focused on Carly and Sonny and Sean that I didn't pursue any alternate theories at all.
Understandable, given Sonny's reputation.
Yes, but a good investigator doesn't do that. You know, you don't get married to one suspect or one scenario. It makes you blind to any conflicting evidence. And now, by the time we found out there was a second shooter, so much time has passed. I just feel like the trail's gone cold.
So there are no new suspects?
Oh, there's dozens of suspects. There's no shortage of people who want Franco dead. So we've made this preliminary list of all the people that Franco has wronged.
I can imagine that's a very long list.
It is. It's a very long list. Yeah, and then the FBI, they have him on this list of suspects of all these unsolved murders. But I'm concentrating on victims closer to home, of which there are many. And this is a mammoth undertaking, I have to say. And we are sorely understaffed.
I'm not so sure if this idea will appeal to you, but I could go through other channels and speak to people and maybe get some information if you would like.
What?
Or if you don't like.
I can't tell you what to do. But I would prefer it if you kept your distance from your former life. If not for your sake, but for others.
All right. I was only trying to help.
Well, you are being helpful. You know, just being here with me, just being someone I can trust. And that's being helpful. It's not easy being commissioner. I can see why Matt wanted to resign.
Are you having second thoughts?
Yes, constantly. But I'm not giving up that easily. I took this job and I'm going to continue with it. And I've got you here to buck me up when I feel frustrated, as I do now.
Well, anytime you need a really good buck, you let me know. There you are, smiling again.
Well, anyway, I'm going to bring this person to justice. Whoever it is, whoever shot Olivia. Once I find out.
Ava Jerome.
Duke Lavery. We meet again.
This is Ava Jerome, who tells me she is an art dealer. Ava, this is Anna Devane. She's the Commissioner of Police in the city of Port Charles.
Wow, nice. It's a pleasure to meet one of Port Charles' finest.
Yes, thank you.
Let me introduce you to my friend.
Silas Clay, isn't it?
Oh, you've met?
I knew his brother. Yeah, your reputation precedes you, Doctor. Welcome to Port Charles.
Thank you. Ava, can we get on with this?
Yeah, we will. The doctor is a very busy man. But it was lovely to see you again, Duke. And to meet you, Anna.
Thank you.
Excuse us.
Yes, nice to see you.
That's interesting.
Certainly is.
So that's Ava Jerome, huh?
It is. And Silas.
Yeah, the brother of the serial killer. God, this is such strong family resemblance. I hope it doesn't go any further than their looks.
It's a bit peculiar, though, isn't it?
What, those two are keeping company?
Yes.
I don't see what the connection is.
I still haven't found a connection between Ava and our Jerome.
And why would she be keeping company with the brother of a serial killer? So I wonder why Dr. Clay left in such a hurry.
Perhaps he felt unwell.
Must be going around.
What's wrong? Is it Danny?
I'm sorry, the protocol wasn't effective.
You don't have to explain that.
The chemo didn't work. Danny's gonna need a bone marrow transplant to save his life. So that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna find a match, and he's gonna get a transplant. Danny's gonna live, right? My son is gonna live.
I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure of that. And you may hate me right now, but when it comes to this, I'm the best there is.
You damn well better be. Match.
Yeah, we have to, Mom. There are no other options.
All right. I've taken Heather's sample to the lab. They're collecting Franco's. And after that, we've tested every surviving family member.
Not everyone.
Who did I forget?
Someone who is not on the list.
Who?
My father.
Sam, we haven't even gotten the results for the relatives that we're having
I know,
tested.
Mom. I know. And if one of them is a match, that's great. I mean, I don't even care if it's Heather or Franco. But what if we don't have a match? Danny, he's an only child, and Jason is dead. So my father could be his only hope.
I don't.
You don't want to talk about it. I understand that, Mom. I get it. I really do. And if it weren't for Danny, I would not be asking about this. I wouldn't. And I know as hard as it is for you to... Is it time for me to know who my father is?
We've discussed this before.
I mean, I've always wanted to ask, but I never wanted to press you. You know, we haven't always been this close.
No, I know, not like now.
I understand why you never wanted to talk about it. I think I've always understood that you had your reasons to keep quiet, and when you were ready, you would talk to me about it. If Danny's life didn't depend on it, I would leave it alone. I wouldn't even be asking you about this right now, but my son needs a marrow transplant to survive, and knowing who my father is, it's never been more important.
I understand.
Mom, what if he has children or siblings or, I don't know, any family member that could be a potential donor for Danny? I mean, what if his side of the family could save his...
It's okay, Danny. I'll tell you. I'll tell you about your father. I was 16. Your grandfather, Makos Cassadine, had me shipped off to boarding school. Briarton Griggs in New Hampshire.
Right, he had to protect you from Helena because you were his mistress's daughter and she hated you.
So much so that I grew up believing that I was some impoverished cousin, Alexis Davidovich. And I was orphaned in a car crash. I had repressed memories of my mother's murder. And I grew up believing that my own father was some distant, intimidating uncle. I'm only telling you that because I want you to understand how much I hated being on that island and how much I wanted to get out of it.
I know, Mom. I can only imagine.
So when I landed in Portsmouth, I was so relieved to be away from Helena and all the rest of them. The only one I missed on occasion was Stefan. And I thought this is a chance for me to reinvent myself. Unfortunately, Briarton Griggs was a buttoned-down, very strict institution. Just the way my father wanted it. So I went from one prison to another prison.
Well, clearly you didn't let that stop you.
Yeah, I was a very resourceful 16-year-old. I was also very determined just to have an experience. So one day I got all dressed up and I put on makeup and made my hair look like I was older, and I snuck out of school and I went into town. And I ended up at this local bar. Turns out I didn't even have to be 18 because they weren't checking. And I was terrified, but I ordered my first drink, and he didn't even ask. He just gave me a Tom Collins. So I sat there sipping it, and that's when I met your father.
Father was in the bar?
Yeah. He came in with a bunch of guys, his friends, and, well, I'll tell you, they weren't the privileged, preppy types that the Academy would ship in for mixers.
They're the bad boys.
Well, I wouldn't say they were. Yeah, they were bad boys. And maybe I just wanted to be a bad girl. Yeah. One of the bad boys, the cute one, caught my eye.
Yeah, what was it about him?
He had messy hair, and he kind of kept flipping it, and he had a leather jacket, and I thought that was cool. You get that?
I get that. Always.
I was staring at him for God knows how long, and he caught me staring at him, and he smiled at me, and I smiled at him, and he walked over, and he sat next to me, and he bought me some drinks. Not a lot, because it was the first time that I had ever had alcohol.
Yeah, but it probably went straight to your head.
Yeah, it went. So he asked me if I needed air, and I did. And we went for a walk, and it was really cold outside, so he offered to warm me up.
Did he actually say that?
He was really nice about it. I was 16 and I was drunk. And then he kissed me. And he took my hand and we went into the back seat of his car. Next thing I knew, I was no longer a virgin and I was pregnant.
You got pregnant the first time?
Yeah. I didn't even know I was pregnant for a long time.
Now, how could you not realize something like that?
Stupidity, naivete, denial, you take your pick. I went to the nurse because I was feeling sick. And the next thing that happened was they told me that Mikos was coming to get me. And I was terrified.
Who could blame you?
I'm sure he paid off the nurse because the whole thing was covered up. He insisted that I give you up for adoption. I'll never forget the day that you were born. And when they took you away from me, I didn't think I'd see you again. But that's all history.
What about my father? I mean, he must have known that you were pregnant.
I never saw him again. He drove me home. He dropped me off at school. I don't have any way of knowing how to get in touch with him.
Who was he, Mom? What was his name? Mom? You have to tell me. Danny's life could depend on it. Who is my father?
I don't know his name.
What?
The reason I never told you who your father was is because I don't know.
Yeah. Look, I'm sorry. I really was hoping that I was a match.
You, Michael, Ned, I wasn't being picky. I hate that I'm in this situation, and I hate that I put Sam in it.
Don't blame yourself.
Why not?
Well, look, Franco is Jason's twin. It only makes sense that there's a good chance he's a match.
We have gone through every relative that we know, and now we can't even hope for Sam's father because I can't remember his freaking name, as if I ever knew it.
Listen to your nephew, please. You have to stop blaming yourself for not knowing who Sam's father
I
is.
blame myself because it's my fault. I'm the one who was underage drinking. I'm the one who went into a bar and had sex with a guy I didn't know.
You were a teenager. You freed yourself from the dysfunction of our morbidly twisted family. The only thing that you might be guilty of is exploring your boundaries, and that's hardly a crime, isn't it? How could you possibly have known all these years later that you would need to know that one specific detail? There's no way.
Rationally, I do. I get that. But emotionally, my grandson is really, really sick. And I can't help but thinking that Sam's father has children, so there's siblings and cousins and people that can help Danny, and now they can't because I can't remember his name.
You know, you're torturing yourself over a man that could possibly be dead.
You're reaching.
Really? Think about it. Anyone who picks up teenagers in a dive bar is seriously lacking in risk management skills, in my opinion.
I know you're trying to make me feel better. It's not working because all I can think about is Sam's father might have a family that's as big as the Falconeri clan, and there's all these possibilities that could save Danny.
It's okay. We don't need Sam's father to save Danny. We'll find another way.
Mikos sends me away to boarding school to save me from Helena. I go get knocked out by someone I don't know, and my father forces me to give her up for adoption. This is a great tragedy, you know.
Most of our family stories are, aren't they?
Mikos was wrong, I was wrong, and now the sins of the parents and the grandparents are visited upon the children. You see, that is the real Cassadine curse.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, Alexis.
we ever going to be free of it, ever.
Daniel was a powerful and vindictive woman. We all know that, but I don't believe that Danny developed leukemia because she put a curse on him.
I was referring to my ignorance at the identity of my own child's father. Be very convenient to blame this on the Cassadine curse, but in fact it is my fault.
Look, I know the frustration that comes with helplessness. I feel it too. I mean, you want to do something, right? And anything to help Danny. And when you fail at that, well, you want to blame someone else, right? Even if it's yourself. But those kind of mind games aren't going to get us any closer to finding a cure for Danny.
It's killing me that I'm missing the opportunity to help my grandson.
I know, but maybe not. What about Molly's theory that Sam's father had a name that began with a J?
Are we seriously going to rely on a Ouija board to lead us to Sam's father?
I'm considering the possibility that. Look at our family, right? I mean, Mikos builds a machine to control the weather. My father survives a fall down a bottomless pit. Can I go on
No,
or
please
here?
don't. With Cassadines, not even death and taxes are certain.
I'm just saying, if there's even the slightest possibility that the letter J is a clue to the identity of someone who can help Danny, isn't it worth considering?
Great.
Nicholas, even if we believe that his name starts with a J, the night I got pregnant is such a blur. Mr. J could say his name and I wouldn't even know
I know,
it.
but sometimes one detail leads to another, right? Like kind of like the floodgates opening. Just try and recall something, no matter how small it is, like what you were wearing. Do you remember what you were wearing at all that
I
night?
don't even remember what I was wearing last week. How am I going to remember something that long ago?
Okay, well, what about the bar? You said that he came with some other guys. Right? Maybe one of those guys called him by name, a name that began with a J. Just try and put yourself back there and remember.
I remember him coming in with a bunch of friends.
Okay. All right, good. What were they saying? Can you remember anything that they said to
I don't know.
you or him?
I don't know, Nicholas. I can't remember.
Any news?
What do you mean, news?
We wanted to make sure things are ready when the police bring Danny in.
Police? What are you talking about?
You mean you don't know?